Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Sofia with her movie Nasabi. Let's take a look at the clip.
Pues la vaca y 6,000 pesos, ¿cómo ve?
No, compadre. 8,000 y es un trato.
Papá.
¿Ella sabe cocinar?
Claro que sí, compadre.
Bueno, pues usted ganó, compadre. La vaca y 8,000 pesos. ¿Eh?
Salud, pues.
Sofia, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. You've been to the festival, but now your film's here, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it really felt like a full circle moment, having had that experience of an audience, seeing the people in the Q&A, seeing the filmmakers, and then becoming a filmmaker myself. Such a nice experience.
I can't wait to get in to talk about your film because, goodness me, you should be so proud of what you accomplished. But for those that haven't seen it in our audience, tell us a brief synopsis.
So Nasabi is about a 14-year-old girl from an indigenous community in Mexico that is currently being negotiated by her father in order to marry. And she will have to decide between her community's traditions or what she truly desires.
It's an absolutely brilliant story.
Thank you.
And wonderfully acted, wonderfully directed. I was so invested from the get-go. Where did this idea come from? I mean, obviously we know this is kind of based upon true experiences, which I can't even believe recently changed just recently as well. 2019, was it 2019 it changed?
Yes, in 2019 it was officially penalized.
Yeah.
But there's still, it's not an immediate switch off of a button, but
yeah.
At least there's something being done.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to change because it's such isolated communities and are ruled by very specific traditions. And so that's why it's a bit difficult to go into those spaces.
So where did this kind of story come about for you? Where was that moment, Sofia, where you're like, I want to turn this idea into a film?
Yes, gladly it's not based on personal experiences.
Good, yeah.
But in the state where I'm from, in Guerrero, I'm from the coastal region, and this usually happens in the mountain region, a little bit more up north. And I saw a very small article, like in a small newspaper, like an online article, saying that it was explaining how a girl just had escaped from a child marriage, from being married. And it really impacted me because I wasn't aware that it was still happening. And I was like, if me, like living so close to the situation, I'm not aware of it, most of Mexico, most of the world probably doesn't know it either.
Yeah.
And I felt like this, like wanting to create a story based on that and create something that people could, digest and see and hopefully like have an impact on them.
Yeah. I mean, goodness me, this is like a story that we've, you go back in time centuries ago and this was quite a regular, like a normal thing, sadly, wasn't it? I mean, go look at Romeo and Juliet, for goodness me. But like the fact this is still going on, like you said, so close and to home as well. And like, it's so much on people that are still developing in from child to adults. There's so many important years to not be thrusted on with marriage, of course. But this was so wonderfully written, it really was, and centered around this, wonderful character that was brilliantly acted. Tell us about how the journey of the writing of the story and how you formed your characters.
So yes, I based myself upon different experiences or different articles I saw of different girls that were into the situation, and I sort of made like one single character all of those pieces. And I really, one of the biggest decisions I took, or one of the most challenging parts of the script was for the ending. I realized that there wasn't a happy ending for her, even if she escaped, even if she stayed there. Her life is gonna be challenging. It's gonna be a challenge at the end. And so at the end, I decided to make a bit of putting my own creative freedom and adding a bit of magic realism, I would like to call it, to give her at least that opportunity of a happy ending within the
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah.
And equally with that, I started building each character and giving like each character a purpose as well and a direction. And that's sort of how it came about.
I mean, your actors were great. The whole setting of the scene of the film was also just, really, really fantastic as well. How do you go about bringing your actors together? They were great.
Yes, I was lucky enough to have a casting director. Her name is Yuleni Bert, and she helped me find these incredible actors. And they from the beginning, our conversations, it was clear the experience they had and how wonderfully like they understood the character and put themselves in it. And even like on set and when I was working with them, it was such an easy job for me as a director, honestly, because they just, I don't know, I was really like honored to have worked with them with the experience they had, and they made the process so much smoother and really truly like connected with the story, which I really liked.
Yeah, and for you as as a director, the stakes are quite high, in this. What was your process in working with your actors?
It was challenging having those initial conversations, especially
Yeah.
with the girl actress, of like what's the situation and what she got of it, or if she had understood what was going on. And so I was trying to be honest as much as possible with her, and I realized like how mature she was and really understood the story and the consequences, specifically talking about the girl character. And yes, for the other two characters, especially like the dad and the father-in-law, it was interesting seeing the hate the actors had to their own character, but also being able to understand where they were coming from and understanding that, because of an actor, you can't hate your character that you're playing. You have to understand it, and you have to see that it's all based on how they were brought up and how those people were raised, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that's why they have those very difficult traditions permeated in their mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting process.
Yeah, it must have been very hard, for them to take on those roles, because it really was. You really showed us the truth, of this experience and what it's like, and it's hard, isn't it? Because unimaginable. You don't want any child to have to go through that experience,
Exactly.
This whole scene that you set up, like the production design, the whole party, the whole experience, the wedding, like it was amazing to watch. It was really fantastic. Like, how did you go about sort of in sort of designing this wedding, this experience? And obviously you shot it just outside Mexico City. Like, how was that whole experience for you?
It was very interesting. The party, we used extras that were non-actors and were from the town around the area. And so it was a fun process introducing them into the filmmaking process, and also seeing them commit to the story and enter the story. And it was funny, one of the dialogues in the film, an actor gives, like the actor shouted, the extra actor gave. And it works with the story and made the story flow. And it was just nice seeing how everybody was getting into the filmmaking process and seeing the behind the scenes. And so I allowed a space for them, since they weren't too used to, being on camera. I made a space where they felt safe, where they felt like it was, almost like a game, or almost, making them feel like they're in another party they've been at before.
Yeah.
And that's how I directed that scene.
Yeah, it was really amazing. There was so much to see and to experience, and there was so much going on in these scenes as well. And, my goodness, but it was really, really fantastic. What was, in making this film, what was I'm sure there was challenges in making it. What was kind of some of the challenges that you faced or overcame in this film?
So in a film, they always say, don't have child actors and don't have animals, and extras was also difficult. And I was like, I want those three things.
Yeah, animals too. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. The cow was an interesting situation to deal with. I would plan the shots like, okay, the cow will be facing this way, and then the house, because of the angle, it will be this, and it'll be perfect. Like, I planned it all out. And that day, the cow, you can't easily flip it around and have it face that way. So all the crew was sort of like bowing down to the cow, whatever it needed and whatever it was doing. So it was a fun, interesting process. And I think that would be the challenge. Also, having the girl crash with the cow, like that scene was definitely something that was challenging at the end, because we, of course, wanted to keep our actors safe, but we wanted it to be clear of what was happening. And it was also a challenge for me shooting in Mexico, because it was one of the first times doing it at this level, like more professional with a professional crew. And it was an emotional process for me, because of course I'm from there, but now doing film there, it really filled my soul, and also gave me like a lot of stress and pressure, but in a good way. And it was an emotional journey for me as well, having done that film.
I mean, you took us on an emotional journey with your film as well, but I can only imagine it must have felt so many emotions for you, you know, filming this film. And it's a really, really special and important film, I think, for people to understand, to know, to be educated, to have empathize, and to really just, you know this is something that has gone on and we may not even know it still could be going on as well. What was the experience like for you last night? Because like last night is one of our staple special programs that we have. Not only is it filmmakers here from the USA, but Central South America, other filmmakers from Mexico as well. Big celebration of Latinx cinema. How was that experience for you last night?
It was very, very nice. The week prior, we got to meet all of us filmmakers, because we were in panels together, learning from each other. And because of the panels, I've had heard each of the pitches of each film a couple of times. And so I was so excited to finally watch the film and see the film behind each person, having known them first as human beings. And it was beautiful seeing how, you know, how connected we are and how disconnected as well, like the differences and similarities between cultures and the specificity that exists within the Latino community. Like there's every film is a complete different universe, and it's fun seeing all the specificity of each filmmaker's, life and what they've learned with their specific circumstances. Yeah, and it was one great film after another, and it was amazing, seeing the person at the end and congratulating them and speaking about how they did things. It really felt like a community, and it feels good inside here. Yes,
good. Well, you've got family, new filmmakers. You've got new family in the other film collaborators, the other filmmakers that are part of that. I mean, you and your program is so strong. It was like, but a lot of emotion, isn't it, in one program to experience?
Exactly.
Where are you taking us next, Sofia? What story are you gonna bring us next? What's going on?
So with Nasavi, I had a little bit of magic realism, like a drop of magic realism at the end. And now the films I've done after that explore more of that fantasy or magic. And so my most recent film, for example, talks about a girl that's telling her crush that she has a crush on them, and actual butterflies appear every time she does so.
That's so cool.
I'm exploring different genres and seeing how I as a director work in different genres and the similarities that exist within those genres. And yes, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm getting back to the sketching boards.
Yep.
I'm starting to really write new projects and explore what's inside of me and what else I want to tell as a filmmaker.
Well, we're ready for it all, okay? Keep bringing more films to us, okay? Because you really did a fantastic job with this film, and I can't wait to see where your magical realism, where you're taking us next as well. I'm excited about that. But no, thank you for being part of the New Filmmakers LA family. Thank you, Sofia, for bringing your film to us as well. And thank you to all of the amazing cast and crew that made it happen, especially everybody back in the hometown as well. So yeah.
Yes,
fantastic.
Exactly. Big shout out to all the cast and crew. I love everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you, New Filmmakers LA.